This custom tow truck answers the question, how low can you go? Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to MapleLeaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels 1952 Chevy pickup truck. Take a good look at it now, because I'm going to whittle away at this one until it's just a cab with no front end and no bed. I'll build the rest myself. The September Four Horsemen Invitational is on the theme of tow trucks. I'm going to turn this one into a hot rod version. I invite you to visit the YouTube channels of my colleagues Diecast Graveyard, Spork Syndicate, and Crossroad Diecast Speed Shop, and this month's guest horseman is Full Custom Diecast Garage. Looking ahead on the calendar, you'll see the next couple of themes rounding out the year. You're always invited to participate with us, and I hope that you will. As I said, there's not going to be a whole lot left of this Chevy pickup when I'm all done, so I'm not going to reuse the wheels or the plastic base. So I file those away in a little Ziploc bag, and they might become part of a future project. The jeweler's saw gets well used in this build. I cut off the bed, and then I cut off the front, and as promised, I'm left with just the cab. But even that's not safe. I cut the top off, and I'm going to lower those posts to have a chopped down hot rod cab. It goes back together with some super glue until I'm happy with the look and the fit, and I am, and so I'll add a little more super glue on all the contact points. Before that dries up, I'll shake a little bit of baking soda on there, and that gives the hobbyist a cement bond. Kind of messy at that stage, but I'll file all the points down. I got this JB quick in a mail call, I think from Tom at Spork Syndicate. It's the first time I've used it, so I had to pierce the seal. It's a 50-50 mix, just like the JB Welt. I'll use this to cover over some styrene plates, filling the gaps where the bed used to be, and you'll notice the back windows are going to get filled in as well. And I'll turn it over, and this is the front end or the firewall. And we'll see how quick the JB Quick works. Here's a tip. Whenever you're finished using any of these tube products, I put them in a Ziploc bag and seal it up so they don't dry out. The JB Quick lives up to its name, though I did leave it overnight to set. And I'm able to file those down smooth. If you're really good, that's the last step that you need to do, but I'm not, so I add some glaze putty on there. This is the same kind of Bondo that you'd put on your real car when you're trying to get it super smooth. That also dries up fairly quickly, and I sand that down too. In and out of the paint booth with a matte black top coat. Now I'm distressing the paint because I laid down a rust primer off camera. When I agitate the top coat of black, it reveals some of that rust underneath and gives a nice effect. I'm just going to paint up the firewall, and it's not to be bright red, it's supposed to be a dirty red. If you're a regular follower of my channel, you'll see a 68 Mustang Cobra Jet coming up for a Dibs Rat Rod theme. My wife Petra just finished her annual painted pink car. I've got a majorette Jeep Cherokee and Ken Block's Huna truck on the calendar. You can count on regular Saturday uploads from MapleLeaf Customs. I hope I can count on you for a thumbs up and a like on this video. As a hobby goal, I've been trying to improve my CAD skills, so this is a chassis of my own design. These are the big dualies that are going to go on the back. They're 16 millimeters in size. The first print, I'll refine this a few times, came out looking like this. LPG bottles. You'll see that I used a garbage can and lid for the grill, a little roll bar, and part of the tow assembly on the very back. But I'm going to need a donor tow truck. This one's a Corgi Ford Transit Wrecker. All I want is the red crane. Let's see how this fits on the 3D printed prototype. Oh, that's just right. That's perfect. Lots of inspiration pics online, giving me some ideas. Today's community shout-out goes to 33DC on Instagram, and I'll scroll through the very rich catalog of work that you'll discover here if you follow the link that I've left in the description. Thank you for doing that and for helping another hobbyist get some traction on his site. I 3D printed single tires for up front that match the same style as the dualies on the back, so I hand paint them in black and chrome rims. I've given the whole chassis a rust-colored undercoating, and now I'm doing some of the highlights, including the grille. There's the tailgate. That's a dark green. Headlight holders in red, and the LPG tanks in white. These will all get weathered up and worn out looking. I'm anxious to see how this all comes together myself with this, my first chassis design. Good start though. Now I am hand brushing a matte black over top of the rust, and again, when I distress this, that'll reveal the rust underneath to give it a nice patina, kind of like this one. This is 250 grit sandpaper. Just a light rub. That gives me the effect that I want. Now I'm dry brushing on some highlights with some silver paint. Nothing too severe. There's the tow crane that got a black matte coat and some chrome highlights. But I want to make some authentic looking steel cable. So out of my craft box, I've got this wire. It's a single thread, but if I double it up and knock one end of it into my pin vise, twist it up tight, you'll see that I've got a really nice looking tensile steel cable now. Cool. Gotta have some rhinestones for times like this. They've got a little stick-em on the back, and so they go right on beside the garbage can grill. Red backgrounds. Looking good. Every tow truck needs some door signage, and this is what I've created to put onto my hot rod version. It's the last rights recovery from Death Valley, California. It's all ready to secure down to the chassis. I do that with some super glue underneath and then resin along the edges. Now you can see it starting to take shape. I've cut some brass axles and I secure them with super glue, not too close to the body. I don't want them to stick and bind. It's a low rider. This is a Fury Road Mack tow truck that I did a couple of years ago. I pulled it out of the display just to have a look at that tow assembly on the back because I want to replicate this. I do that with some regular masking tape cut to the right width. I put that over my 3D printed frame that I added to with some styrene rods. This is a small length of chain and just the right size for this scale. And just glued onto the ends, but it has the right look. Remember the cable? Now I put that onto the winch at the back of the cab and the top of the crane. Starting to look kind of real. I'll paint up these two flaps now. They're pretty bright, but they're going to get some black wash and weathering too to look like they've got lots of miles on them. Getting close to the end, I have a donor engine up front, but I wanted to put these exhaust extensions on, so I made my own out of 2mm styrene rods. I just warmed them up in some hot water so I could bend them and cut them to size. Now I'm going to plumb the engine too. The hardest thing is to find the right thickness or gauge of wires that look real in this tiny 1:64 scale. This is the best I could come up with for this job. A little more super glue to make sure they're well secured. This is the real inspiration pic that I was going from. Did some freelancing on my own. And this is the final assembly. Let's have a closer look at my chopped cab tow truck. I love that grill up front with the trash can and the lid. Great big dualies on the back. Heavy duty tow assembly on the crane. The chains and the cable look real. Got my LPG tanks on there and the headlights up front. I'm kind of pleased with how that all turned out. So I put my channel logo on the bottom. Yes, it rolls. It was a complete 52 Chevy pickup when I started this project. But all that remains is that central portion cab. I chopped down the roof, did my own design for the 3D printed chassis, and here it is from all angles. It's a knuckle dragger, that's for sure. Thanks again to Full Custom Diecast for being our guest horseman this month. Try to watch as many of the tow truck videos as you can. If you participated, send in a glamour pic to that email address and we'll put it in a recap video. Thanks for visiting my channel again today. Come on back soon and often. It's coffee time.